Can you hear me now, guys? Can you hear me now, guys? I hope this kind of... Yay! Oh my gosh, that was just like simply lucky. I think the Windows had updates and they messed up the whole system. Finally. Sorry. Hi, everybody. And you didn't hear the music, but that's okay. Let's not go through it. So it's a good thing that this is back. So let me just see who is here. Hi, Barbie. Hi, Sally. Hi, Dean. Oh my gosh, my fellows here. Hi, Diana. Who else am I missing? Ella, Shirley, Daniela. Oh my gosh, look at you guys. Carol Peterson. Oh my gosh, you were here before me. Jody, Esther. Who else do I see? Daniela Golan, True Aqua Sun. There you go again. Hello. See, Kentucky. Hello, Aquarius from Kentucky. Ella. Who else do I? Spiritual Splendor. I love that name. Very nice. Virgo Venus. Hi, Sunflower Girl. And Elegant Chaos. That's fun. Hi, UK. So where are you guys from? Oh, Germany. Look at here. We have Europeans. That's so nice to see. Star, Marlena. Barbie again. Barbie, good to see you that you're here. Miss Orientina. Nelson Diaz Torres. Hello. And I think I acknowledge everybody so far. So let's start. Let's start. Sip of coffee. So it is new moon in Gemini. That is going to be on Tuesday. I'll probably have a live reading just for that occasion. Not sort of like this weekly, sort of like just spiritual messages. Let me remove the Zoom because it can sometimes create problems. Webcam options. Boy, this kind of like is completely looking different. There we go. With this Windows update. Okay, hi my turquoise, good to see you too. So this is going to be general reading, and when we get into on Tuesday, it's going to be more or less like spiritual messages that kind of like what is a good start for your particular sign. So let's start. Who will we start first today? Okay, let's go for vote. Who am I starting first for the week from the 9th to the 15th? From the 9th to the 15th. Hi, nice. Tina. I'm starting with... That's it, Renata, water. And there we have Lars and Renata. Look at that. So let's start with water first. Water. What's going to happen for water this time around? Water. Water for this week. King of Pentacles. Water. Oh my gosh, water. This is kind of like replying on its own. Huh. Interesting. Let's get one more for water. One more for water. This one wants to jump. Now, that's very interesting. Okay, you have Knight of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles, Nine of Cups, Two of Pentacles, and Ace of Cups. Look at that. This pretty much the entire family is showing up. But somebody is checking out and somebody is new checking in. So if you guys are in a family situation, it kind of like really gives me this feel that people will sort of like gang up against you, and this might not make you feel very happy, or you will be the one who will sort of like, you know, have something to say about someone. I really feel this is kind of like a part of the family gathering. So what do we have? Do we have, is that like, I mean, Father's Day? No, it's kind of like the next weekend, right? So I'm wondering if something is going to happen, because also you have Ace of Cups and Nine of Cups reversed. So something that you thought that you can balance out, or maybe receive somebody's support, it's either going to be kind of like high demand on how to do it, And that's kind of like, it's kind of really interesting because new moon in Gemini kind of like gives you this kind of like switch your thoughts in the middle. So it's going to be lots of balls dropped in this period. That's what I see over here, guys. No ifs or buts about it. It's kind of like really worries me. I mean, this is not even that bad. It just like says that maybe something is going to be a bad idea and somebody's going to stop you. Maybe this is talking about some kind of like indulgence, something that maybe is like not, maybe somebody's preventing you of getting into some kind of like boo-boo and saying no, you need to stabilize. It's going to be really think about the money, and simply it doesn't have to be even romantic or something. It can be just like simply some kind of like purchase, and somebody's not going to see eye to eye on this. Maybe creating a budget is going to look like, after all, this is not a good idea, and somebody's going to have to work out in their head kind of like this is not no go. Another way of looking at this, it can mean that somebody's going to have quite a few suitors, that it's not going to be one but it's going to be two, and it could be a sort of a week of, oh look at me. Queen of Pentacles gives that vibe of look at me physically, because she is usually very, very beautiful, and when she kind of like reverses, that kind of like becomes, you know, beauty over substance. And that could be also, come on, like really, like is this who you want to be? Could be certainly kind of like that kind of like energy that I'm seeing over here. So let me go in the detail things. Actually, you know what, let me kind of clarify a few things over here. Kind of like want to see what's going on. I'm going to actually, I'm feeling I want to clarify also with another tarot deck. So let me just check a few cards over here for water. Okay, this one is jumping here when I'll talk about that one. Let me see this Queen of Pentacles. And of course these two cards as well. Oh, I just got two. So let's see what's happening here. Let's start with the Queen. And yes, it is just like confirmation of what I've told you. It's going to be sort of like a battle of the wills, and somebody here is going to lose. So whether this is going to be you, water, or you're going to push somebody into like, look, this is a no-go kind of a situation, because this is definitely talking about arguments. It is talking about establishing boundaries when it's upright. But when it reverses, it is like really saying, you know what, look, I mean, you are losing this battle. You kind of like, it is kind of like really, really weird that, gosh, this is really, really weird, because I really hope it's not going to be any kind of aggression. It's like for some reason it's giving me this like I'm a stay-at-home mom kind of a thing, that maybe somebody kind of like doesn't feel they have a voice and they have to kind of like earn their stay, and I hope this is kind of like not the case, and this is kind of like really sending off these signals. And here we have like Two of Swords. And you know what, it could be that somebody kind of like put out proposal. If this comes to dating, like maybe somebody likes somebody and hey, you want to go out. But look at these two cards. This fellow here just like waiting for everything to be served on him, and it could be some kind of like overindulgence. But Two of Swords with this woman who is blindfolded, it is definitely talking about kind of like maybe waiting for somebody to make this decision. So maybe it's going to really work out the way you want it. So just like don't kind of like backstab later, right, if certain things happen. Okay, but now the third party, it is like definitely showing up that somebody is having maybe too much fun. This third party doesn't have to necessarily be a romantic partner or sort of like cheating, because In this combination, it certainly can mean that somebody is just like more hedonistic. You know, when we overspend money and then the bills come, it's like, oh boy, what do I do now? Because here's something that was no go. Like, again, it's going to be finances this week. Literally, how do I reorient myself? Because something that kind of like, let's say it was your heart desire, it was like something emotionally felt, it's not going to go, because you will have to kind of like get grounded, and you will really go into, okay, what do I do over here, right? How do I position myself and grow from here? So let me just go in. Hey, from Italy. Buongiorno. So let's check who is the first sign. I think Cancer. Let's go with Cancer. Let's go with Cancer. Let's go. Where is Letty today? Let's go with Cancer. Oh my gosh, Cancer is getting 3, 4, 5. Now, interestingly, we have Ace of Swords, but you have Ace of Pentacles reversed, the Fool. That's very interesting. 10 of Wands and 6 of Cups reversed. It kind of like, it does sound a little bit like Cancer to me, because you guys kind of like have this like special place, almost like partition of your hard drive in your own head, where you know, like you have like your special things. You know, the rest of us, we have the boxes full of memories, so do you, but you also have the special things in your head, and usually that takes you down the memory lane. But I think you are kind of like going to get rid of some stuff, whether physical, it could be even physical, but I really think this is more mental, because the Ace of Pentacles is reversed, and sort of like you're pushing yourself further, you're pushing yourself into some new direction, because your realization that something really good hard, maybe you have memories or hopes with someone, and maybe that someone is just like not coming through, and you're saying, forget it, you know, I'm not going in this direction, I'm not thinking. And that kind of like would link really nicely with what I'm seeing here, except not somebody else who would kind of like come and debate with you like about what has to go. You're going to kind of like completely do it on your own, sort of like self-assess yourself, and gonna go with that. Thanks, my turquoise, for help. And now the next one is Scorpio. Let's see, Scorpio, what are the messages for Scorpio for this week? And something flicked. And now we have anything else? Now we have this repetition of the 7 of Pentacles, except it's reversed. So Scorpio, I really think this kind of like general is in particular resonating with you, because these two cards sort of have the same feel, except this one is not permanent and this one could be longer lasting. It is kind of like really interesting, because 14 is 2 times 7. So 7s are spiritual. You're kind of like really trying to find your ground. You will kind of like be stuck in making a decision over something or over someone. And certainly it is still the time for not to kind of like move forward, which is kind of like really weird, because kind of like the moving forward would really depend on someone else in the situation. It kind of like looks to me, Scorpio, that you do have options, and that you're kind of like biding your time, because something or somebody is just like simply not ready for it. Because when the Temperance reverses, it's to me saying something is either the wrong place or the wrong time or the wrong person, or just like, I mean, you just kind of sit through it and figure out what can be built or not. It can be both work and romantic. If it is work, then you're indecisive of in which direction to take your work. It's almost like you're between going forward with something or maybe I shouldn't, and it's sort of like not going to be a week for kind of like making a final decision. Definitely not the time for it. It could be romantic, that this actually even could represent you, and some of you, and it could be just like two types of Scorpios, that some of you will probably want to move forward to something more grounded, especially men. they would kind of like to ground the relationships. So there is this King of Pentacles over here, but the others maybe will not. Maybe others are going to say, look, you know, I am still not sure if this is the right fit, but sort of like it's going to be somewhere in a flux. It's not going to be completely grounded. So let's just do the Pisces. There is something. Judgment reversed. Wow. Each of you signs had major arcanas, and majors didn't actually show up in this kind of like previous one. So this is just like introduction to a movie, and the movie seems like this week is happening on individual sign. Cancer is very resolute. Scorpio is kind of like coming to some kind of realization, which kind of is interesting. I don't know if Scorpio is dealing with Sagittarius over here. It doesn't have to be. Here we have air signs for Cancers, but here we have a Scorpio energy again. So Pisces is sort of like the mildest of all water signs, and Pisces is actually going to go much deeper. Maybe you're going to start feeling hurt, because Judgment is a really good card. I consider it one of my karma cards. So I really think like karma is knocking on your door, Pisces, and it's asking you to kind of like not to react, because the Judgment reversed means that somebody knows the right thing to do but is choosing the wrong one. So you're asking maybe somebody to do the right thing, and they kind of like reply, okay, I'll do it, and then they don't do it, or they do something that is going to harm, or that could be you. This is a very strong message. Let me just get more clarity on this. Baby, is it something new that you started? Look at this. That, yeah, you know what? Something that was recently started, guys. It doesn't have to be recently. This also, you know, like talks about something from the past, and something from the past is resurfacing. So you might not even be aware of what's going to resurface, but it's going to be occasion. It is going to bring a whole bunch of history, and that's maybe why this grounding is very important. And maybe somebody's going to point finger at you, like you promised this and you did this instead. It's going to be really time to clear the air. It's going to be the time to things that maybe you overpromised or that somebody overpromised to kind of clarify. But when this kind of reverses, sometimes it also can signify the ending of some kind of like sorts. But it doesn't necessarily talk about ending of relationships. It's more or less talking about ending of a process. And it's telling you, being a karma card, look, just observe. Don't take sort of like justice, don't take judgment, don't be judgmental. Because Queen of Pentacles, she kind of like reversed, she's kind of inviting judgment. So, you know, those women, thanks Dean, those women who just go out and kind of like flash their body and then they want to be taken seriously. Well, it takes time to kind of like get over it and to pass the surface. But the Queen of Pentacles is like, no, I'm the best, I'm the most beautiful, and you kind of like have to do that to me. So I don't know, for Pisces, it's simply going to be a situation that is going to come to an end. So it's going to be really interesting. So sip of coffee while you guys tell me which group of signs should I do next. Okay guys, so who should need, well, I have two air, so I guess it's going to be air. Let me separate these cards. I don't like them to come glued after shuffling. All right, so same thing here. Air, look at my air, look at my air, look at my air. Okay, sip of coffee. And let's do air. Air. What's up with air in this period? What's going on for air in this period? Look, air. Whoa. Holy smoke. It just like slided to me. I just like literally feel that I don't even have to go in a kind of like further shuffling of the cards. So that's kind of like really interesting. So I wanted to check what is on the bottom. It is like 5 of Pentacles reversed. And the reason I checked is like I'm just trying to see this kind of like arguing. So what is it? Are we guys going into Mercury retrograde? It's kind of like weird. No, we are under Gemini, and hence the Mercury is ruler, because I am seeing now again this like 6 of Pentacles, and I have seen that for Cancer. So kind of like 2 neighboring signs. For some reason Gemini keeps coming through, but look what's happening again. It's going to be kind of like reminiscing. It can be some kind of nostalgia. It can be fighting off the past. Like you have guys judgment, but you guys have judgment upright as well as the strength. So this is definitely signifying to me that you're warding off things that maybe kind of like got in the way. Maybe there is a person you're fixated on, but you're kind of realizing that maybe thinking about this person is always conflicting you in some way, and it's kind of like air is that way, guys. Like we kind of like really can literally ward off things that we realize are not good for us. Sure, you know, people think we're heartless. No, but it really takes a long time, and when it kind of like gets to us, that logic, we kind of like do it. And this kind of like means there is like still struggle, and this can actually probably, and it is probably indicating inner struggle that I see over here. The strength is like really talking about us becoming better humans. This also can talk about us reviewing our past. And this is really, this goes for people who are highly more spiritual. And I mean, and usually, you know, people who know everything all the time, those people are basically the biggest idiots. The people who are always worried, you know, are people who are able to progress further. In psychology, they had this Dunning-Kruger effect where, and I'm not sure at which university they actually studied that. So they were asking a group of students after leaving the test, after finishing the test, how did you do? So people are answering, oh, I am just like, it was amazing. And the other people, not so sure. So they asked them to sort of like estimate what kind of marks they will get. And guess what happened? When they kind of like compare their answers with their actual results, the people who did it horribly on the test, they were very confident they did very, very well. Very confident. And in a kind of like in an overwhelming number. The people who did very well on the test were the ones who were sort of like going, I don't know. So this basically proves conclusion that you probably already knew. Well, stupid people just don't know they're stupid, right? So that's what I'm saying, like questioning yourself and looking inside, because the strength is like about the inner strength, right? Not being explosive, not shouting, not telling people to F off. It's just like we all think that, but we don't have to say that. And it is basically saying, look, clear the past. It's kind of like really weird, like they're like for air signs to get 2 past cards. This is kind of like really interesting. That's why I really think this is a spiritual growth, and it's also karma knocking on a door over here. Maybe there was somebody who kind of like left us out in a cold, maybe that we really depend on, but like maybe something was doomed from the very start. Because like, what is this card showing? And again, I'm lifting this card too much. This card is showing 2 people passing by the church. So why are these people not going in the church? So this always tells me, you know, that morality comes in a way. So church kind of represents morality in tarot. So maybe somebody strayed out from the marriage, maybe somebody cheated, you know, all this kind of like 10 sins, kind of like not to go down this kind of line. And hence now the church doesn't really want to open the doors, and 2 of them are just like sort of like left for each other, and it's kind of like really, really hard. It's kind of really interesting that the Magician is here, because when I added the cards, I think here the majors is 28. It's kind of a come down to Magician. And again, very strong Gemini energy. Gemini, Scorpio, Leo. Very, very strong coming through. They are all very good energies. And it's basically talking about, look, you can create something new. You have the tools to create. You don't have to feel bad. So I really think that there's like really nothing to confirm, guys. Oh, right, let's check this one to be on a safe side. I just like really want to confirm that my intuition was right on. Okay, Dean, I'm also going to make you a moderator. I thought I did it before, and I don't know what happened. Here we go. Because you're always here and always help me. So let me see. There's like 5 of Pentacles. Look, it could have been even a legal situation, because the King of Swords is like a strong Libra coming through, and it's kind of judge energy, but it's also somebody who is guided with the intellect. And you see, kind of it's interesting, because we don't have, well, the Magician is air, and Magician is also Gemini, and here we have Libra. But like, what is like really this talking about? That like maybe certain struggles got too far too fast, and things just kind of didn't really work out, and it's kind of like maybe time to clear it, because the King of Swords is like fully, the person is fully very intelligent. It's a mastery of the sword suit. It's saying, look, I'm not going to rush into decision, but I'm going to still make it fast, kind of like taking everything in account. And I really think, because the Judgment is here and this is the Judge, that kind of like it's the time to drop off heavy burdens. It's like time to kind of like, it's almost like looks like internal struggle for the year. Wow, this kind of like makes me feel good. I mean, I had last night like looking, and I don't know what happened. I know what happened. I got a new computer, and because my computer died during Mercury retrograde, so I had to buy a computer during Mercury retrograde, which is like what, a month and a half ago. Now the new computer died, so now I had to do this new computer. I was transferring pictures, so I had to go through this memory lane. Something flashed through my kind of like space, and I was like emotionally affected, and I brushed it off. I said, no, I'm not going down this kind of like memory lane. So let's check individual signs. So the first one, and happy birthday to Gemini. Happy birthday to Gemini. Yeah, this is definitely Renata working on spirituality. It's sort of like, hearing this tarot reading, and you hear it and it's entertaining, but you come back and you listen to it, hearing and listening to different things, right? And probably hearing is even more, listening, I should say, the other way around. Hearing is like more important. It's kind of like literally that seed is like the dandelion, right? Seeds flying all over the air, but some of them really hatch, and I go, oh yeah, that's what it is. So let me just see, Gemini. Woo. And as I said, Gemini was coming through really, really strongly. So there are like 3 5s for Gemini. I have to be very honest with you guys. You are going to have a breakthrough in this week. Not necessarily easy breakthrough. Again, what do we see in this picture? 3 cups are spilled. Like there is somebody mourning, really looking down. And because they're looking down, they're not realizing there's still very good things looking up. And you heard that, these 2 people actually committed suicide this week. So there is some kind of energy and making people despair. And despair happens when you just simply go down this memory lane and everything seems to be dark. But the key here is like looking in these 2 cups, looking for other people who can give and kind of like give you a big hug, kind of absorbed. Like that's not good for your birthday. So let me clarify that. Let me clarify this for Gemini. This one wants to talk. La sadness. What do you think this is? Gemini, what's going on? You know, maybe because you're like, and this one also wants to come out, the Hierophant. Is there some kind of divorce going on? Somebody is just rubbing you the wrong way. I don't know if there is like a Taurus energy, but look, there is like this fixed sign energy. Somebody maybe wants you to rotate around someone, and you sort of like more or less like that free flow, and it's maybe coming to the end. Maybe you're remembering as it was, and maybe you're remembering some kind of like really serious relationship or even marriage. I really think, Gemini, like the thought that came through when I saw this double sadness over here is that you kind of like are really fixing yourself, just like all air signs, because after all, the Magician here is upright. This is you. You maybe spend too much time, or are going to realize that you have been trying to depend on the other people, and this is a good rule in life, that you find a group of people that can kind of like help you, but you're realizing that you really need to like here, you need to kind of like find a space where you kind of like depend on yourself and believe in yourself. It's going to kind of like make you that way of sad, kind of like why is it hard for me, and others seem to kind of like go through life without kind of like these issues. But that's kind of like fallacy in thinking, because as you know, we all have our own cross to bear, right? So just nothing is really easy. Look at these two people who killed themselves. I was really scratching my head with Kate Spade. Like, apparently she seemed like everything going for her, like a cute girl and rich and successful business. So my gosh, what possesses you not to kind of like call a travel agent instead and organize a trip around the world to get like this new boost? So you never know. And I was shuffling this for Libra, and this came out, and I'm going to take it because Libra is actually 11, but here they are Roman numerals in kind of majors, and the High Priestess is 11, just like your card, Justice. So now have Judgment and Justice, but this is really High Priestess reversed. And we had here the Hierophant, which in some decks is called High Priest. So sort of like the same energy, Libra. It's pulling into ourselves. I really think, was it last week that we were kind of like finishing one phase? It kind of like didn't make sense, but right now I'm seeing this is sort of the last of like what needs to be cleared. Let me just check. Yeah, my turquoise, it's kind of like really weird. Like, I mean, oh my gosh, look at that. Libra. Well, this is sort of like bad news, and this is good news. You really trusted someone. So yeah, this is all about trust. Okay, I think this is becoming very clear. I think what Air is thinking through, that it was somebody in the past who you bestow lots of trust upon them. You maybe even debated, like, no, like, when people promise you and then they forget their promise, then you remind them, and then they just keep going in the wrong direction. Well, now it is like kind of time to just means kind of clearing those issues, whether it is in person or not. But like, the High Priestess is the person who actually experienced things on her own skin, and this is coming out as that experience, something painful, something unexpected. And it's kind of interesting because this card is considered as a Hierophant with raising fingers, sort of like anointing people. But the truth is here that the worst is over, and now I think there is like this clearance that is going to kind of like take place. And maybe you have been so angry, and Libra is not fun when they're angry at all. Like, right, this kind of like definitely gives me like this feeling about you, because anger and sadness, there are two sides of the coin. Oh yeah, guys, please remember to look at your annuals. I promise you that I'm going to release them. I did, and also they are down in descriptions. You can see the links, so I don't have to repost them there for 2018. And if you like them, consider purchasing them when I come with them in November. Libra, the worst is over. You got it. These two tens, you kind of like coming back into understanding like that you have to claim your own powers, that you have to claim your own life, that somebody or something has been a very negative influence, that it was like not you that has been put down, that it was like them who were doing it, and now you're just realizing, well, this kind of didn't work. There were some kind of like boundaries that have been broken, and things just couldn't kind of like work out in any kind of like good direction. Oh, Aquarians, no problem, Renata. Aquarians, and again, guys, I have to mention for every sign, for those people who are not over here, Aquarians, check in description box, and there is like an annual 2018 tarot that I have released now for everybody to see. Oh, Aquarians are still working on some kind of like past issues as well, because we see Libra is already turning into 10, and general reading is 10, but like Aquarians actually have to go back. It's kind of interesting. Look, we're going from 10 to 9. That's one more. But that's needed. Aquarians need to do something else. Like, looks like Gemini is going to be just sad, or something didn't work out. Libra is going to get angry, like, how could you do that? And Aquarians are going to go, look, you know what, maybe something didn't work up to this point, but I'm going to do one more step. And that last time, you know, like how they show that cartoons, people digging those, you know, tunnels and giving up, and then you're seeing just like this much is left until they kind of like can see, can break through. So kind of like, when do you give up? That's kind of like a good question, because it looks like stubborn Aquarians, a fixed sign, they're not going to give up. That's Aquarius, that would be Scorpio, that would be Taurus and Leo, and kind of like we see also the reinforcement of that over here. So I think Aquarians are going to work on many levels over here to flip it over the world. And I think that was the card of a day or something, for today or something, or for yesterday. It's going to be like really highlight of the entire week. Both of them are sort of like, yeah, job well done, I am so clear. It is almost like feeling lighter. This is one of the best cards to get. It is also, I mean, I'm not calling it a karma card, because this is like really happening right now, versus the others that are kind of sending the spiritual messages. But I really think Aquarians need that, because for a while it was like really uphill struggle. Okay, so that will be the air. And who's next? Who is next? Hi, Pleiadian Tarot. How are you? Listen, Pleiadian Tarot, I was really thinking about what you were telling me last week about the healing series. So I would like to discuss that with you further. Could you please contact me online? mysticcatarot@gmail. You can see the email in description. So hopefully, you know, you can just give me a shout, or if it's easier to talk, you know, just send me your phone number if that's better. Okay, so fire, look, fire is screaming over here. Fire's already, oh my gosh, like it's 3 out of 3 judgment coming here. Okay, fire, thank you, sweetie. Fire, what's going on for the fire? Oh my gosh, look at that. Yeah, Pleiadian actually, and also guys, fire, check your annual. I did release it. This is for 2018, so you're getting part of the year, because they're like sort of like buy them, and I kind of like start creating them in October, so you can actually sign up for them just to kind of like see the flavor of what's going on. They're like about 2 hours, just to let you know. Fire, oh my gosh, it's going to be lots of fire. Oh my gosh, look what you're getting. 3 meters. Should I continue with fire? This is all good fire. Very good. Oh my gosh, look at this. You have the Magician and you have the High Priestess. So physical manifestation and spiritual manifestation. Oh my gosh, this is a definite breakthrough. Absolutely. oh my gosh. And this is kind of like all linking to something, who you are, what do you want to commit to, how do you want to go about that, what in the past, from the past you need to learn, what from the past you need to release. Because the magician is saying you have everything that you need, absolutely everything that you need. You just have to keep working at it. But of course, nothing is perfect, because it looks like there's like still someone who is kind of like, this card is interesting. I'm going to tell you what other readers say, and here we have Pleiadian Tarot, and all of you who are interested in. So there is a person, and it's kind of interesting because this definitely can talk about. It's kind of interesting. Look at here. He is sitting on a very kind of plain stone, basically throne, in the middle of the ocean, which is very turbulent. And then we have the fish jumping here from this turbulent ocean, almost the saying, look, spiritually, kind of like lift me up. But then we have the ship here that is like sort of like sailing as if the waters are calm. And it's kind of like really, really interesting, because it could have been somebody who was affecting you emotionally. It's a fire, water kind of a thing. Or it could be simply that scorpionic energy, kind of like that is coming through, that you need to clear something emotionally from the past, because you have this like 5 of Cups. So thanks, real Sagittarius, because 5 of Cups to me, as I was explaining for the other sign, it's kind of like it's inability to look that there are other ways to the happiness, right? That's why we have the bridge, and that's why I have the house, but person is not seeing this. Some readers, and that's what I wanted to see Pleiadian Tarot, what she says about it, say when this reverses, everything is fine. I don't see it this way, and the reason why I don't see it this way is, hi Summer in Time Tarot, the reason why I don't see it this way, okay, see you Barbie, thank you so much, is, well, I see all these cups are just like, I mean, spilled out. I kind of like don't see that. So maybe you cried your eyes out over somebody fire, and now you're saying, F you, I am moving forward. So it's kind of like understanding, it's not that it was not about this person. You're going to say, in this person I liked A, B, C, D, E, F. And King of Cups is a high, mature, emotional male. And you say, this is what you had that I fell in love with. And this is what I really still want to find. And I am kind of like mourning that these things kind of didn't work out. But it didn't work out probably for a reason. It's kind of like really, really interesting. So let's just check this one here, because it definitely talks about still some of you fire lingering some kind of sadness, because there's definitely the past that is coming through. And this one wants to talk. Well, there you go. Wheel of Fortune, you have like also 2 karma cards. Now again, Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, Leo, fixed signs holding this whole thing. And this to me is one of those karma cards, because this one is coming from the past, asking you to clear it, to go in the future. And this one is definitely karma card, talking about things can change. This can also be sort of like suicidal card, but you guys are not going to commit suicide. And the reason I know that is this, that maybe you kind of close the lid and something festered, and maybe just have to kind of like let the river out and cry your eyes out, and it's going to be over just like that. It kind of like actually can finish, because it is kind of realization that not everything was bad, and that what you wanted, what's up, and that you kind of like say hi to fire. You're coming from for your Aries and Leo and right? And Saggies? Huh, Safi? You're not talking today? Sapphire. Sapphire. Hi, Safi. Okay. So, there we go. We just saw the fray behind. So, let's start with Aries. Aries. Water and earth and fire. It song actually sounds like the band, right? Aries. Aries, 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 Aries. Oh my gosh, what? Aries is just not thinking. Any Aries over here? Aries, come on, focus. Here we go. I'm getting something. And you're getting the Strength reversed. Are you dealing with a Leo? Or maybe it was a story about a commitment that went bad. This is definitely saying you need to conquer that rebellious nature. This is kind of really clear message. And this can talk about abuse as well. Let's just get one more for here, for Aries. You're not going to be on fire. And I think Aries, you're going to go a little bit kind of like deep this time around, emotional. And maybe it's going to really take away sort of like the edges. You might even become too abrupt. It's kind of like, and that's what a Wheel of Fortune does. It kind of keeps swinging between the two things. But it's going to end up on top as per the general reading. This is kind of like understanding yourself from the inside and outside. And you usually do that with actions. You have this like strong action motivated kind of like mode, kind of like built in. It's not going to be that much this time around. It's going to be sort of like really different. You're going to really feel outside of your element. So let me confirm this. Let me confirm this. You know, guys, I'm expecting about 3 million views in the next, I don't know, 10-15 days. So it's going to be a big celebration. So the message, money. It could be something about money, but usually when I see the card money, that to me always talks about secrets. And so is the High Priestess that talks about secrets. Maybe you're finding the truth about somebody, and that truth is going to set you free. It's going to be just like that, and you might get really, really angry about that initially, but then you're going to just like release it in the universe. So it's going to be something like that. Okay. Hi Diana, thank you very much for your order. I really appreciate that. So you guys, you know that you can still order and get the speed up promotion because it's still, you know, not Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde, I'm busy like crazy. Now we are going in Leo. And also Aries, I don't know if there is a Leo you're dealing with, but sort of like maybe somebody wants to be on a pedestal and you're knocking them down for some kind of reason. And you're saying, no, that's not going to work. And look at that. The Lovers, Leo. This is a very powerful card. You see, it's kind of like almost contradictory to this one. It's kind of like starting fresh, starting new. That's a very strong Gemini energy coming through for you, Libra, pardon me, Leo. Very, very strong. It's going to be a feeling almost like of love this week for you. It's going to feel that you're going in a good direction. You see, in this particular deck, we don't have this angel. There are two people for each other, looking at each other, right? And it's kind of like, look, the looking in each other's eyes, it's going to be the sense of innocence. Because it looks like to me that there's going to be some kind of tribulation and it's releasing the past, because the Lovers card is ultimately about the choice. And the choice is, okay, what do I want to do with my life? And you know what? It's like really star-studded, almost like, if you want to say this, because you have literally everything inside, outside. And that's what the Judgment also means. You're kind of like washing off your past and kind of like setting in motion a completely new future. So Leo is going to have a really, really good week. Also, if you guys are looking, then somebody really new is going to show up, and you're not going to kind of like mourn anything from the past. So it's kind of like one of those shift weeks. And maybe I'm getting this in between because we are just switching from basically ending on the full moon to new moon phase, and sometimes this makes sense. And Saggies. Oh my gosh, look at this, another karma card. So remember what I was saying, the 2 to me almost like sometimes looks like 11, right, in Roman numerals. So now, and I always link these 2 cards for some reason. Not everybody does that, right? But the Justice is really talking. It's kind of interesting how much air do you guys have in your chart. And Justice is a Libra energy, and it is really talking, and this is actually Sagittarius energy, Wheel of Fortune. And that would be Safi trying to climb the drapes. So Justice is really saying, look, you kind of like have to figure out, it's the universal justice. What do you really need? And how do you really Safi, I'm afraid that she's just chasing a bug and she's going to take the blinds. Safi, take the blinds down. Siamese cats are climbers, so she kind of like really, my drapes are always a disaster. Sorry guys, Sagittarians, you're kind of like coming to the sense of where you need to go. It could actually indicate divorce because of this. It could indicate, you know, letting go of the past. Maybe there's like a chapter of your life that is finishing. It is very strong for fire, all fire. You guys have very strong messaging. When you get air messaging, that means spiritual shift for sure. And you're basically getting all air cards over here with a hint of fire over here, with a hint of Scorpio here. So definitely you are going to kind of like work on who you are. Sagittarians are going to, in this deck, she doesn't have her scales even. Maybe you're going to realize, well, life is like that. And because Sagittarians have this kind of attitude, they kind of have this attitude that things can go up and then things can go down. And I don't know if Sagittarians are connecting with any of the signs, Taurus, Leo, another Scorpio or Aquarians, because it is just simply saying, look, I kind of like need to cut my losses. I need to move forward. But this is the universal sense, also asking yourself, have I been just? Am I going to kind of like move forward? So even if I kind of like did get kind of like wrong cards in life, the justice always works out, always. And it's also always, when you see this card saying, do not take justice in your own hands, kind of like work on yourself. So Sag is really good card. I really like this card when it comes through, because there is like a clearance and clarity for you and for the people involved that kind of applies. Okie dokie. Next, who we didn't do? We did first who? Water. We didn't do Pentacles. We didn't do Earth. We did air. We did fire. So I think just the Earth is left. So let's do Earth. Earth. So I just are going to do, well, actually fire, really, I think fire is really good. Yes, they're going to have like emotional dip, but oh my gosh, it's going to be for the best. So yeah, like Sagittarius are really interesting. I kind of like have a love-hate relationship with Sagittarius, and sorry to say that, because just like in any sign, like I mean Aquarians can get to be the same way, because you know, they can be overly blunt, and it's like really watching myself in a mirror, and it's kind of that part I don't like very much. But I really like, they like to travel, they like to do things, they kind of like to explore philosophy. It's all kind of like good in my books. So Pentacles, and look at what you got. The Earth, you got the best pentacle that you could get. Oh my gosh, this is really good. And again, I'm seeing the switch. I'm seeing some new path going on here. It's kind of like one of those rare cards that you see Pamela Collins Smith's signature in the upper corner, because usually it's down, but she didn't want to kind of like overwrite her stuff. Earth, this one wants to come. Ooh, the Lovers as well. Earth, what's happening this week? Huh, another major, something else flicked. 8 of, oh my gosh, let me just not discuss this until I get all, and there you go. Earth, it's very interesting, very interesting week. And then you have the Emperor. You're really stabilizing yourself. You are really feeling really feeling at peace with who you are. You're feeling good with your family. You're kind of like seeing things from a different standpoint. You're making better choices. You're aware that maybe somebody's advice is going to take you in a good direction. Because when the Hangman shows up, especially when it comes together with Emperor, this tells me, like, first of all, look, this person is not very unhappy, and this kind of like 4 here is the Emperor that is in him, saying, look, all the stability that Emperor is talking about, he doesn't have, because this person is like tied up. His arms are tied up, well, so we think, and look at how he's holding his leg. Mind you, red stockings, hello, what were you thinking? But this whole aura over here means this person is like really willingly sacrificing themselves, right? It's kind of interesting that maybe somebody's realizing, what's up? Really? Are you sacrificing yourself? And curtains? The Hangman is really talking about, I am willing to do some kind of sacrifice, because by doing the sacrifice, I'm going to make you happy. So what that sacrifice can mean? It can mean a new child, for example. So hence, yes, I have to work longer hours, or I cannot go out with the boys, or, you know, like I'm going to have to dedicate more time to my kids. But is this a sacrifice that we are willing to do, and we are kind of like understanding things from somebody else's direction? It's kind of like really, really important. It's going to be really, what is getting too hard? Look at it, like 2 tenths that you are getting. Certain things are just like a no-go. Well, I can handle it. I can take this many family gatherings. We can, no, sweetie, we can have only 2 dogs. But oh my gosh, I just like remember my dream. I was dreaming about a dog, that I was adopting a dog. It just came to me, and pretty black dog. And I was like saying to myself, oh boy, what did I get myself into it? Because I like to sleep in, and the doggy wanted to be walk first in the morning. So that kind of like just flashed before my eyes. But it was like beautiful black, I guess, lab. Here you're kind of realizing that maybe oh my gosh, this is really good. You're realizing what is a no-go. You're realizing your boundaries on that level. You're realizing that to accomplish more, you need to take less, if that makes sense. Sort of like, this person is not holding these wands in the best possible way. Oh, Bleeding Tarot, that's so cute. And so he's going to flip, and he is maybe not going to reach his destination. So you're realizing, you know, slow and steady wins, kind of like the race. It's kind of the thing. I really think that some of you might even be committing this week. I mean, this can be sacrifice as well. I'm not single anymore. I am not debating when I'm using my bathroom ever. And you're saying, you know what? Yeah, I will have to ask if it's okay to take it for half an hour, but I'll do that because I'll be with this person. So it could be proposals here, guys. Definitely having both lovers and the strength. So if the strength is in the relationship this week for you Pentacles, and it's everything going to feel great. If you're already married, this is going to move you forward. You're going to start being more stable, looking in various directions of life. You have like very strong fire, so you'll be really go this week. I'm only going to clarify the Hangman just to see the nature of this. There we go. It's really jumping there. There you go. It's kind of like starting a new direction, and it really could be a child. Maybe somebody is going to give you news that they're pregnant. Maybe, look at this, we have the Emperor here on the stuff, and it's initially going to be a shock because that's what has happened, and it's going to kind of get you thinking. But it could also, Page, could mean kind of like studying of something new and kind of like going in a new direction. Okay. Oh my gosh, Husky. I love the Husky as well. Oh really? You have a black dog named Frankie? Oh, that's awesome. I love black animals for some reason. Black horses, black dogs. So I'm not surprised that in my dream I adopted this black thing. And I don't know, I remember going to this, basically, what do you call it, Humane Society, going back, filling the paperwork. It's like, why my dreams are so pragmatic. Like, I mean, come on, just give me good stuff. So let's go with, who is the first one? Taurus. Taurus. And I don't know, guys, Geminis and Leos, you have them very prominently exposed, as well as the fire and the earth. Very, very, very prominent over here. So, Taurus. And look at that, a little bit of, oh, it's not the memory line, I thought it was like 6 of Cups. So there are options, but they're like sort of like dreaming kind of things. Don't lose yourself in the dreamland. Maybe this kind of like connects me to say, look, you know, oh, I can do it. Just kind of like, this is kind of like dream mom things, saying, look, it will be actually better for you to kind of like commit yourself, or not to commit yourself, just kind of like know in which direction you go, because this week is quite a bit about the commitment. You're having these 2 8s over here. Let me get one more over here. One more for Taurus. And you got 17 more, so no, I'm not taking this. And plus they were bad cards. Not that I'm taking it, but like you had the 10 of swords reversed, and you had the moon reversed, both really actually good, saying, you know, maybe there was some kind of inner struggle, maybe something happened. Thanks, Esther. Maybe something happened and you're kind of like pushing this forward right now, and the worst is over. And actually, it's not only that this verse is over, but like things are really moving forward in a good direction. I want just one more for Taurus. Let's take this one. Again, another 7. Again, a very spiritual week. You kind of like are coming to terms what you want spiritually. You're coming to terms to who do you argue with and what do you argue about, and what is really, you know what, it can be a purchase of some kind, that maybe that's going to be sort of like a family decision, and maybe some of you will have to sacrifice kind of like your own initial decision for your Taurus, not necessarily for the rest of you. So it's not going to be a biggie. There are just like 2 minor arcana, so not a big thing. So Virgo, what do you mean I don't like your husky? You know, no, I love animals. Oh my gosh, I love, your cat probably. I was like thinking like, well, how can you say I love all the animals? Probably your cat. But you know what you should do? You should put lots of catnip on your husky, and your cat is going to connect that with kind of love. You know, cats are really easily bribed. So, Virgo. See, this is like when you take things out of context. And Virgo, you're getting a whole bunch of cards. Look at this. You're getting reinforcement of the Emperor. Okay, so 2 wands, Knight of Swords reversed, the Emperor and the Ace of Swords. So Virgo, you're definitely movers and shakers. You're sort of like setting your goal on something. This is saying, okay, what do I really want? Again, it's about this decision. What do I want? Do I really want to commit? There is like some kind of harshness that is going to happen here, but it looks like it's needed. Maybe harsh words, maybe even a debate, maybe, you know, just realizing I need to cut something off or somebody off in order to stabilize, or somebody might cut you off, but it's going to turn out for you to be really happy about it. So there is like some kind of like victory, whether this is a victory over yourself, because look at, even this Emperor here has a sword in this particular deck. In this one, rather wait, he doesn't. So I really think you're going to be in your head, to be honest with you. And even though you didn't have air, but you do have this air showing really clearly, saying your kind of like thinking process is kind of like coming to understanding of something that was kind of like leading you down a garden path. You need to stabilize, and certain things need to be expressed. Maybe this is even you expressing something, some displeasure, and say, look, if you want to continue with something, this is what is needed. Somebody's going to tell you it's harsh, but it looks like don't care about what somebody will tell you, because certain things need to be said. Because after all, this whole week is about the choice, about stabilization, about grounding. Like you have quite a bit in the general reading, everything but the air, and air is like fast moving, and you guys are now having air over here. So something for you is going to reach much greater clarity. Certain things will be on point, and don't let other persuade you differently. And then who is the last day? We have Capricorn. Let's see. Capricorn. And oh my gosh, so here it is coming. So that was probably for you, Capricorn. And again, it's a 10. It's not a bad thing, because like here there is like somebody who has won. Don't forget that this card was just like happening before. So the 10 is like saying, look, again, you trusted somebody, or maybe you thought that you can do better, because like this is to me linking with these two 10s. And it excuse me, it's going back to that sacrifice, that something was not just doable, something is not workable, and maybe you feel betrayed by someone. So let me just check one more. Capricorn. Verita, welcome. I'm bribing my cats. Each time I want them to go in a different spot, I just like dip catnip, and I'm buying this little kind of like fish-like stuffed things with catnip, and just like saw it in the place, and that kind of like spend time there. So Capricorn, one more. And guys, Earth, and I'm probably saying this too late, kind of like check the annuals as well. And there you go. You know what? The worst was over. You're discovering happiness again. Be very careful not to dip too much in the wine or liquor, because that card can indicate this kind of like rosy and cheeks being too happy. So it is really good. It's kind of like, what a wonderful story. Look, I was here yesterday in despair and talking about the suicide that we were talking before. Like, this is how you can feel, and then you just like do something stupid, and then the next day you can feel just like that as you got. So what a waste of life, just for something seemingly being so weird. But I'm going to clarify this card, and I'm going to clarify this one for Virgos. So let's go with this 10 of Swords for Capricorn. So you have anger and you have constancy. So I think this is probably referring to some kind of anger, something that was still underlying issue, and maybe that sacrifice is kind of like linked to it. You're kind of like saying, look, anger is actually really good, because it means it's finally getting out of your system. Things are kind of like, yeah, things are coming to an end. And constancy is like really kind of like very much like this card. Everything works okay. There are two doggies, like elderly, are like kind of like really treated well in this family. Two people building their life, building the arches of their lives. It's all good, kind of like in this world. Like really the leading card for you, Earth. I'm not really worried. So I think Capricorn is really clearing certain things and kind of like sorting them out in their own head. Very important. So let me just go back to Virgo for a second. Virgo, I think, something, honestly, this kind of like says malady, but it's kind of like giving me as a headache, because he's holding his head and this guy has a sword right next to his head. The sword looks like it's kind of bloody, but it really isn't if you look, because the fire is reflecting on it. So honestly, it can simply indicate that you will be sick. It can indicate headaches. It can indicate, oh my gosh, stop bothering me with certain things, and that's going to be kind of like the thing. So just like here, look, I know I should do this and this and this and this, but yeah, you know what, it's too hard for me right now. I will not be able to accomplish it. Let's do 1, 2, 3 things instead of 10. So thank you, Marina. I greatly appreciate. So I had a grown cat, and I did a rowdy pup very young, and a cat told the pup, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So you didn't have to do any potty training already here. So thank you guys so much. I'm putting the music for you to actually speak for a few more moments, and I really appreciate everybody being here and helping. I'm going to be back on Tuesday, I believe 8 Eastern Standard Time, so we can have the messages for all the signs for the new moon. Thank you, Pleiadian. I'll look for it, and so we can talk or chat. I really appreciate it. Thanks everybody so much, and let me give you music if you guys still want to chat. This is kind of like your opportunity for another minute or so. Okay, love you, bye. Oh, that was quick. Thank you so much, guys, everybody. See you on Tuesday. Hopefully to see you there. Love you.